Hello and welcome. Tonight, the Inspector General of Police, Olukayode Egbetokun, confirms the arrest of 9 suspects in connection with the killing of 6 policemen in Ughelli, Delta State. The new-look 3rd Mainland Bridge in Lagos reopens today. Authorities warn motorists against violation of the 80 km/h speed limit, arraignment of Binance Holdings Limited senior executives in the seat by the FIRS and the EFCC stalls at the Federal High Court in Abuja.
On Business News tonight, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission says new hike in electricity tariff set to reduce subsidy for 2024 by 1.14 trillion naira.
On sports news tonight, Super Falcons of Nigeria set for Friday's big test against the Bayana of South Africa in the first leg of the final qualifying fixture for the Paris Olympic Games.
From Abuja, the nation's capital, Governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara,
giving an update on the efforts of the police to fulfill its mandate of securing lives and property in the first quarter of the year 2024. The IGP, who was speaking during the meeting with the force management team in Abuja, announced that 9 persons have been arrested in connection with the killings of 6 policemen in Ughelli, Delta State, with 6 others at large. Mr. Egbetokun says those arrested are currently giving the force information that will aid in the arrest of those involved in the killings.
The Inspector General of Police is leading other management staff of the force to the first quarter conference to intimate Nigerians on measures put in place to secure lives and properties.
Apart from bringing together all the critical...
First, he rails out the effort of the force while soliciting the cooperation of Nigerians to secure the nation. He then highlights some of its recent strides.
The abduction and killing of 6 of our personnel during a special operation at Ifu Forest, Ughelli North, local government of Delta State, on 26 February 2024, is a sore testament to the hazards confronting us daily as we strive to keep our country safe. The entire police family is deeply pained by the heinous act of violence against our officers in the ordinary course of their duties. We have made significant progress in the investigation into this tragic incident. A total of 9 suspects confirmed to have been actively involved in the killing of these officers have so far been apprehended and are currently assisting in unraveling the circumstances surrounding the unfortunate incident.
It's not all about securing the nation. The force is also concerned about securing its personnel.
I am pleased to announce that we are in the process of conducting a comprehensive review of the police regulation and introduction of a scheme of service for the Nigerian police force. These critical undertakings are aimed at modernizing our legal framework to align with contemporary policing standards backed by the Police Act 2020, enhance the welfare and professional development of our officers and men, and foster a culture of excellence and accountability within the force.
To better enhance the nation's security architecture, the Nigerian police force is soliciting for the support of Nigerians through prompt information sharing. Sarah Chimogu, Channels Television News.
We're still talking security. Nigeria's military says its troops have neutralized several top commanders of terrorist groups in the country as they reaffirm their commitments to the fight against insurgency. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, told a news conference on the activities of troops in the first quarter of 2024 that the military in the first quarter of this year neutralized 2,351 terrorists and arrested 2,508 others.
Journalists have converged on the conference room of the Defense Headquarters. It's the first quarter briefing of the Defense Media Operations. With military precision, the Director, Defense Media Operation, reels out statistics of successes recorded in various theaters of operations.
We have employed significant firepower to neutralize several terrorists as well as disrupt their activities. Troops have killed several of their leaders, their commanders, and their foot soldiers within the period. Significant commanders killed include, but is not limited to, the following names mentioned. Famously known as Abubakar Mainok. He was the head of ISWAP. We took him out. We also took out another Haruna Isaiah Baderi. Others that were taken out include that Baderi was a notorious terrorist who operated along Bilingwari Forest in Kaduna State, as well as along the Abuja-Kaduna Highway.
Beyond the elimination of terrorists in various parts of the country, the troops also had encounters with a number of crude oil thieves.
They denied the oil theft of over 21 million liters of stolen crude oil. They denied the oil theft of over 2 million liters of illegally refined AGO, 53,000 liters of illegally refined DPK, and over 50,000 liters of illegally refined PMS. Additionally, the troops of Operation Delta Safe recovered over 200 assorted weapons and destroyed 685 wooden boats, 8,416 assorted ammunitions were recovered, and equally destroyed 655 illegally or illegal refining sites.
As the fight against the insurgency continues, the military has reiterated its resolve to raise the bar in order to ensure the security of Nigeria and the residents of the country.
The arraignment of Binance Holdings Limited and one of its senior executives, Tigran Gambaryan, in the suits by the Federal Inland Revenue Service, the FIRS, and the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has been stalled at the Federal High Court, Abuja. Now, the arraignment could not go on because one of the lawyers insisted that his client, the second defendant, Mr. Gambaryan, has not been served with the charge by the Federal Inland Revenue Service, and Binance, who is the first defendant, has not been served also in the EFCC suit. Our correspondent, Emanuela Ekele, reports.
One of the senior executives of Binance Holdings Limited, an online trading platform, Mr. Tigran Gambaryan, is at the Federal High Court Abuja for his arraignment by the Federal Inland Revenue Service and the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. The agencies are prosecuting Binance and two senior officials on different charges. The FIRS is accusing Binance of failing to register with the service for the purpose of paying all relevant taxes. The EFCC is accusing them of money laundering and corruption. During the proceedings, Mr. Gambaryan's counsel highlighted that his clients didn't know the charges against him. The FIRS counsel mentioned the difficulty in serving the second defendant, who's been in custody, and requested leave to serve him in court, which the court granted. The prosecution requested for an adjournment to allow the defendant to review the charges and enter a plea. Justice Emeka Nwite then adjourned the arraignment in the FIRS suit to April 19th. In the EFCC case, the defendant's lawyer argued that since Binance wasn't served, the joint charge couldn't proceed, The prosecution claimed they served the second defendant on behalf of Binance, citing a legal provision, but the defense disagreed, saying they can't serve Binance through the second defendant. Justice Nwite adjourned the matter to April 8th to decide if the arraignment could proceed without proof of service on Binance. Both parties declined interviews. Emanuela Ekele, Channels Television News.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC, has filed a 6-count charge against Idris Olarewaju Okuneye, popularly known as Bobrisky. Bobrisky will be arraigned tomorrow before Justice Abimbola Awogboro of the Federal High Court, Lagos. While the first 4 counts of the charge border on abuse of the naira, the last 2 border on alleged money laundering. In the charge sheet filed by the EFCC prosecutor, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Rotimi Oyedepo, alongside 7 other lawyers, Bobrisky in the first count is alleged to have tampered with the sum of 400,000 naira by spraying same while dancing at a social event in Lekki, Lagos. The EFCC says the offense was allegedly committed on March 24th this year and is contrary to and punishable under Section 21(1) of the Central Bank Act 2007. In count 2, Bobrisky is accused of spraying and tampering with another sum of 50,000 naira by spraying same at a social event while dancing between July and August 2023 at Ajah Junction in Ikorodu. In count 3, Bobrisky is accused of tampering and spraying 20,000 naira while dancing in December of 2023 at an event center in Ikeja. Count 4 also accuses Bobrisky of spraying and tampering with another sum of 20,000 naira while dancing at another event in Oniru, Victoria Island, Lagos. In count 5, Bobrisky, while trading under the name and style of Bob Express between September 1st, 2021 and April 4th this year in Lagos, is accused of failing to submit to the Special Control Unit Against Money Laundering a declaration of the activities of the said company, within which period the total sum of 127.7 million naira was paid into the company account domiciled with EcoBank. And in count 6, Bobrisky is also accused of failing to submit a declaration of the activities of the company within the same period when another 53 million naira was paid into the company's account, thereby committing an offense contrary to Section 61A and Section 1F of the Money Laundering Prevention and Prohibition Act and punishable under Section 19(2)(b) of the same Act. Now, the chairman of the Kano State Anti-Corruption and Public Complaints Commission, Alhaji Mohuyi Magaji, has been suspended from his position by the Code of Conduct Tribunal following a 10-count charge of corruption filed against him by the Code of Conduct Bureau on November 16th, 2023. Now, the suspension was announced in a statement issued on Thursday by the Chief Press Secretary of the Code of Conduct Bureau, Mrs. Veronica Kato. According to Mrs. Kato, the decision to suspend Alhaji Magaji is to ensure that he does not interfere with the ongoing trial against him. Justice Umar emphasized that it would be inappropriate for Alhaji Magaji to continue discharging the duties of his office while facing trial. In part 2, after the break, the new look third mainland bridge in Lagos reopens today. Authorities warn motorists against violation of the 80 km/h speed limit. Please stay with us. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the News at 10. Coming to you live on Channels Television from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. The Inspector General of Police, Olukayode Egbetoku, confirms the arrest of 9 suspects in connection with the killing of 6 policemen in Ughelli, Delta State. The new look third mainland bridge in Lagos reopens today. Authorities warn motorists against violation of the 80 km/h speed limit. Arraignment of Binance Holdings Limited senior executives in the suits by the FIRS and the EFCC stalls at the Federal High Court, Abuja. And U.S. President Joe Biden tells Benjamin Netanyahu that the U.S. support for Israel will depend on steps being taken to address civilian harm and humanity, and 6 others before a state high court. Now, the 6 other defendants joined in the first suit include Mr. Gandurje's son, Umar Abdullahi Umar, Abubakar Bawuro, Jibrila Mohammed, Lamash Properties Limited, Safari Textiles Limited, and Lesage General Enterprises. Now, the suit filed by the prosecution counsel, Muhui Magaji Esquire, and others indicate that the government is dragging Mr. Ganduje and 7 others before the court on 8-count charges concerning dollar bribery allegations, misappropriations, and diversion of funds running into billions of naira. The suit is also attached with a list of 15 prosecution witnesses and their statements. And from Lagos, motorists that ply the 3rd Mainland Bridge can now heave a sigh of relief, as the bridge has now been reopened after 2 months of repairs. At the reopening today, the Federal Controller of Works in Lagos State, Korede Keisha, however, says anyone who drives beyond the 80 kilometers per hour on the bridge would be in violation of the acceptable speed limit, which is 80, and would be liable to a penalty. Mrs. Keisha also decried the destructive tendency of some motorists who barely care about how their activities affect the bridge. Our correspondent Chris Leps reports.
It's almost midday and motorists jostle to find their way to the island via the 3rd Mainland Bridge. Ordinarily, the road should be closed to them from noon, but today is different. After 2 months of partial closure due to rehabilitation work on the 11.8-kilometer bridge, these motorists are eager to put the full structure to the test once again, an experience they claim has been pleasant.
At the end of the day, the difficulty, the challenges have been worth it. I've done a few times back when one side or the other side was open. It's a fantastic walk.
But they also want to see the 3rd Mainland Bridge given due attention.
The problem we have in the country, we need continuous maintenance on the road that will make the road be very perfect.
Kudos to the government, federal government, kudos to the Lagos State government as well, and also in a way support them, because if you bring something to a particular state, a bridge, it takes the government there to support them.
Use driving experience should be seamless. However, work is still ongoing to ensure that the solar lightings and of course the cameras are installed. From the 3rd Mainland Bridge here in Lagos, Chris Leps, Channels Television News.
Right, so let's now head to the nation's capital, where Mark Bogun Yusuf is standing by to give us the very latest from our Abuja studios. Hello, Mark.
Hello, Ayo. It's good to see you. Well, we're starting off with politics, and it's barely 24 hours after threatening to spring a surprise on his political opponents. River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara is firing another salvo. This time, he's rejecting any changes to the list of caretaker committee members of the People's Democratic Party in the state. The governor's remarks comes after concerns raised by his supporters about the list of state and local government caretaker committee members published by the party's National Working Committee. Governor Fubara was speaking at the groundbreaking ceremony for the Port Harcourt International Automobile Spare Parts Market and Commercial Center in the state.
We had a meeting and we agreed that not just the River State, but all the states affected, that the ASCOs should be extended for 3 months. This extension is not bringing in new names. The extension also did not say you're working without the authority of the governor. So for those lists you saw, and those ones altered, I can assure you it's not going to stand. Thank you! For record purposes, so that you understand, we also agreed that we are going to have, in fact, there is a NEC meeting on the 18th of this month that should ratify that decision. So what you're seeing there is desperate people who like media, who like people to not empty drum. Thank you, sir.
Meanwhile, the River State chapter of the All Progressives Congress has been reacting to the governor's comments on implementation of the Presidential Peace Pact. The Rivers APC caretaker chairman, Tony Okocha, says the governor is being economical with the truth. He is also accusing the governor of plotting to procure court injunctions to stifle the State House of Assembly from carrying out its functions. He was speaking to journalists in Port Harcourt.
He wants to procure interim order restraining or stopping the implementation of the laws which he was vetoed over. He wants to procure an order to announce as illegal the River State House of Assembly as constituted and as led by Right Honorable Martins, Chike, and Nebule. Reading through the 8 points above, will it be true to say that in the 6 and 8 have been implemented? What are 6 and 8? That you present a budget to the legitimate assembly, recognized by Mr. President as being headed by Right Honorable Martins, Chike, and Nebule, that you should present the budget. I'm asking the press, has that been done? Now, have in the state, which of course directed the governor to conduct an election and never recognized any other nomenclature in the local governments. Has it been done? Again, you are all aware that by effusion of time, the governor's blatant refusal to conduct election, of course, goes to affect the instant laws of River State. And of course, it's a blatant, but a deliberate attempt to disrespect and disobey Mr. President.
Away from politics now, in the northeast of the country, the Taraba State Governor, Abu Kefas, has directed the immediate assessment of a household affected by the windstorm that wreaked havoc in Takum local government area of the state. This follows the governor's visit to the affected communities to assess the level of destruction.
What used to be the people's homes and markets have now turned structures without roofs. Business centers, worship centers, and schools are also not spared by the once friendly visitor who turned unfriendly as residents watch helplessly following a windstorm which lasted for hours, wreaked havoc, and thereafter accompanied by a heavy downpour. Some residents who spoke to Channels Television blamed the incident on deforestation, lamenting that some individuals have cut down the surrounding forest, which served as windbreakers for their selfish reasons.
We've not had this experience before, but about 3 years ago, there are a lot of cutting down of trees, madri everywhere. And so I think that is what resulted to this windstorm that we're experiencing right now.
We only lose a lot of things and there is no money. We want government to help us because we are passing through a lot. We need help from government.
On June 23, 2023, the governor signed an executive order suspending all mining activities in Taraba and subsequently, on July 1, 2023, banned all forms of tree felling in a bid to halt a looming disaster associated with soil degradation. These orders appear not to have been fully implemented in some quarters. The governor, alongside his team, are here for first-hand information and to sympathize with affected residents over the unfortunate incident. Though no life was lost, he has called for prompt assessment of affected households, businesses, worship centers, and schools. The governor says there will be intervention to make life worthwhile for them. At the end of the tour, the majority leader of the State Assembly spoke on behalf of the governor.
His Excellency received the news about the windstorm after the rain in Takum, and he thought it was expedient for him to be here to see things for himself. We have gone around Takum town and we have seen the enormous destruction. You know the situation we are in this country at this time. People are passing through hardship, and the rain has just started. His Excellency felt it is important for him to support these people that were affected by the windstorm.
It's expected that the Task Force Committee on Deforestation and Illegal Mining, as well as stakeholders, will have a change of strategy in curtailing further effects of climate change.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission says the new hike in electricity tariff is set to reduce subsidy for 2024 by 1.14 trillion naira. That's some business news. Join us again. Welcome back to the news at 10. Reactions have continued to trail the increase in electricity tariff for Band A customers. A cross-section of Nigerians say the timing is poor considering the high cost of living in the country. Experts want the government to grant complete control of the power sector to the private sector.
The past months have been really challenging for Nigerians due to the rise in cost of living, with the president calling for patience while his economic team works on addressing the situation. Nigerians have been vocal about the pain associated with the living cost, and the voices are even louder now, following the latest increase in electricity tariff by the government on Wednesday, the 3rd of April this year. The government had announced an over 300% increase in electricity tariff strictly for Band A consumers, that is, those supplied with a minimum of 20 hours a day of electricity. In Magodo, Lagos State, the news is not well received.
I just drove in now before you stopped me. You checked my car. It's diesel and fuel I went to buy. So, sad. With all those low quality service we get, you are saying it's now 255 per kilowatt. Strange and sad. Like this street you are on, you're in now, the zone you're in, we normally pay close to 180,000 naira every month to power the street lights. So you're going to times it by 4. You know what that means? Do you get what I'm saying? There's already a hardship. People are going through a lot concerning inflation. Now you're adding this one to it. You get another lights. You know what they help do? When there's proper lighting in a place, what you get is like security is tight.
In Abuja, the Asokoro area falls under the Band A category. But this highbrow area is not only occupied by high net worth individuals and big business owners.
Where I'm coming from, my office, there's no light since morning. There's no light, and they are just offing, and you can't burn anything for this, and they are increasing. It's very, very bad.
Okay, they're talking about palliatives for people, and then suddenly this one comes again. So it's like robbing Peter to pay Paul thing.
The electricity sector is plagued by inadequate power supply, and experts agree with the government that it is time to fully let the private sector in for better service delivery.
They should take the bull by the horn, get off the space and get in massive finance into this subsector. Sell the remaining equity they have with the discos completely, 100%, not giving 40%. Privatize completely the transmission company of Nigeria, which as of today still remain the weakest link and cannot will, as we speak, more than 3,000 megawatts of electricity.
The decision to increase electricity tariffs is part of the government's strategy to attract new investment into the energy sector, having spent over 3.3 trillion naira on electricity subsidy.
And that's all from our Abuja studios. It's back now to you, Ayo.
Many thanks, Mark. Over 80 kidnapped Chibok girls are yet to return, 10 years after they were abducted from the government girls' secondary school, Chibok, by Boko Haram members. Two of the former hostages, Amina Aline Keki, who escaped in 2016, and Jumai Muta, who was rescued by the government later, call for government to intensify efforts in releasing the remaining girls still living in captivity. But they made this call at the screening of the documentary Statues Also Breathe in Lagos, Nigeria. It's been 10 years, but the memory is still vivid in the minds of Amina Aline Keki and Jumai Muta, two victims of the schoolgirls kidnapped in Chibok by Boko Haram members. On that fateful night of April 14, 2014, 276 schoolgirls from Government Girls Secondary School in Chibok, Borno State, were rounded up and abducted. Until this day, more than 80 of them are yet to return. At the special screening of Statues Also Breathe, a documentary film on the production of terracotta images of the girls still remaining in captivity to draw awareness to their plight, Amina and Jumai recount some of the ordeals they had to endure during their time as hostages.
Voice and violence to our Chibok girls. And when we are going, we have our hair tie and our shoes. Right. Yeah. Some people coming, like our parents and some security agents follow us, but because of their too much more than them, and they have many materials of fighting, they can't catch us because of the.
So you knew people were following?
Yes.
But they didn't have the arms or the numbers to be able to take on
the after we leave Chibok, is the next day, that's our parents follow us back. And it's just only our parents that follow us. And they met with one old man, and he told them that, you people, do you think that you can able to get your children from these people? Since you are only people follow them and you don't have any security following you. If you know what is good for you, you better go back to get security so that the people have guns that can fight this program. If not, you can't copy with them. You have to go back.
They beg government to rescue the remaining Chibok girls.
But I'm reminding the government that there is still missing Chibok girls that in captivities. And we are still need the effort to release our sisters back so that we all share this happiness we are having now. And for their parents too. Because it's so boring when they see us and thinking about their daughters.
Ori means head.
The documentary follows the project by French sculptor Brunori in collaboration with the Department of Fine and Applied Arts of the Obafemi Awolowo University in Ile-Ife, alongside the families of the Chibok girls. The project consists of 108 life-size images of the missing girls as they hope to continue to raise awareness about the plight of the girls who are still missing, while highlighting the global struggle for girl-child education. Business News is up next with Will Ibong.
Thank you, Ayotunde, and welcome to Business News. Now, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NEC, says the newly approved increase in the power consumption rate is expected to reduce the subsidy for the 2024 fiscal year by about 1.14 trillion naira. The Vice Chairman of NEC, Mr. Musliu Hosseini, who made this known in a statement, explained that the tariff review, which targets consumers under the Band A classification, aims to provide adequate and reliable power supply to drive the economy. Earlier this year, the Commission had estimated that the federal government would pay 1.6 trillion naira on electricity subsidy in the 2024 fiscal year. Now, the Naira has maintained its rebound against the US dollar across the official and parallel markets, and this is on increased dollar supply. The local currency strengthened by 1.42% against the dollar to 1,258 naira 45 kobo on Thursday from 1,276 naira quoted on Wednesday. Analysts expect rates to trade around these levels on Friday, barring any significant market activity. Also, experts from financial derivatives companies say they expect that the impact of the gain will lead to a reduction in commodity prices in the coming days as the naira is beginning to regain its fair value. The domestic equities market slid further into negative territory as investors sold off MTN Nigeria. John Mekwa tells us more.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Stock Market Report. Well, for the third consecutive trading session, the NGX is recording a red market. In fact, today it's lost the 376.08 after it went down 0.43%. And yesterday, the market cap lost the 59 trillion level at 58,653. That's what it closed at today. And it's because so many reds from the Fugas, all of them dropped at the close of trade today from Binance Holdings, UBA, GTCO, Accessco, Zenith Bank, the highest loss recorded at GTCO. Also contributing to this, a major market mover, MTN Nigeria, lost 1.29% on its share price. It opened at 232 naira, but closed at 229 naira for MTN Nigeria. So at the end of the day, it's the bear that had a win again today.
And that's it on Business News. It's back to Ayotune for the rest of the news at 10.
Many thanks, Will. President Bola Tinubu has re-emphasized the need for ECOWAS member states to come together, strengthen ties, and reject forces bent on causing division within the sub-region. Speaking at the inauguration of the 6th legislature of the ECOWAS Parliament in Abuja, President Tinubu, who is the chairman of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government, said regional solidarity is imperative to strengthen the bloc's resilience and effectiveness at this critical juncture. Affirming the important role of the ECOWAS Parliament in the bloc's journey towards a future of peace and prosperity for all, the president said the success must be homegrown.
It is evident that we face profound challenges in our region that demand our unified effort. Recent political developments have consequential effects on each of our member states. 3 member states considering withdrawal from the community is a challenge to us. We must preserve the unity and integrity of our organization. The ball is in your court. In your legislative considerations, and in your various interactions, it is very imperative that you take seriously that we have to build the economic prosperity of our region by ourselves. Let's forget what has happened to us in the past. We are matured and of age to think and build our intellectual curiosity to develop our region.
President Bola Tinubu. Now to some company news. Stanbic IBTC Bank has upgraded its digital banking platforms to make transactions and reconciliation processes seamless for business owners. The newly upgraded applications are the Stanbic IBTC Super App and Enterprise Online 2.0 for business owners.
Ready for business. Stanbic IBTC Bank introduces the much-anticipated upgraded Stanbic IBTC Super App, a one-stop solution for all banking needs of entrepreneurs and business owners.
I would like to invite our special...
During the unveiling of the enhanced mobile app at the Stanbic IBTC Towers in Victoria Island, Lagos, the bank says it aims to simplify banking processes while putting power in the hands of its customers.
They
enhanced Stanbic IBTC mobile app caters to businesses and represents a revolutionary all-in-one mobile application designed to deliver a seamless banking experience for our business clients. With our enhanced mobile app, our customers can conveniently access a wide array of banking services. They're able to manage their beneficiaries, initiate payments, and generate signed and stamped account statements and mix all within one single platform.
Stanbic IBTC also has Super App. And
at a fireside chat with the CEO of Nairametrics, the chief executive of Stanbic IBTC Bank, Bola reveals out some of the special features that can be accessed via the Super App for business owners.
On this Super App, you have insurance. On this Super App, you have pension. On this Super App, you have stockbroking. On this Super App, you have asset management. On this Super App, you have your bank. On this Super App, you have your wallet. So whatever your banking needs are, on this Super App, you have the solution. And what is it for business is that we have now put the power in the hand of the business to do their transactions on the go, on the app. So it's like putting your bank in your pocket.
Also introduces the Enterprise Online, which is Stanbic IBTC's internet banking for businesses.
The Enterprise Online 2.0 is our internet banking solution for business. And it's the web version of the Super App. So I would say it is for customers that have large screen. It's a large screen version. And people that want to work on their desktop, they want to work on their laptop, it gives them that capability.
By upgrading its digital banking platforms, Stanbic IBTC Super App for businesses and enterprise online, Stanbic IBTC Bank aims to provide a convenient and secure banking experience for business owners.
I'm super proud to be working with an organization that is
NATO allies have agreed to send more air defense aid to Ukraine, but with no concrete pledges. This comes as the alliance marks its 75th anniversary, overshadowed by the war on its borders. Here's Simon Puser with more international news in Around the World in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Pressure is growing on the UK government to suspend arms sales to Israel after 7 aid workers were killed in an Israeli airstrike in Gaza. More than 600 legal experts have written to the Prime Minister saying exports must end because the UK risks breaking international law over a plausible risk of genocide in the enclave. Some charities have paused their operations since the strike, increasing fears of starvation. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has called for an independent investigation but stopped short of saying arms sales should end. Meanwhile, World Central Kitchen founder Jose Andres has accused Israeli forces in Gaza of targeting his aid workers systematically, car by car.
What I know is that we were targeted deliberately, non-stop, until everybody was dead in this convoy. This happened over more than 1.5, 1.8 kilometers. So this was not just a bad luck situation where, oops, we dropped the bomb in the wrong place or no, this was over 1.5, 1.8 kilometers with a very defined humanitarian convoy that had signs in the top, in the roof. That cannot be the role of an army. That cannot be the role of an army that has hundreds of drones above Gaza in any single moment.
Rescuers in Taiwan are working to reach more than 600 stranded people a day after the island experienced its worst earthquake in 25 years. One survivor has recounted how tremors unleashed rock slides like bullets around the coal mine he was working at. The 7.4 magnitude earthquake hit near the eastern county of Hualien, killing 9 and injuring more than 1,000. Some stuck in tunnels and near a national park have been rescued by helicopters, but 34 people are still missing. The official number of people trapped or stranded rose considerably from about 100 to 660 on Thursday, as people started getting phone signal back in the mountainous regions. More than 100 people were on board a ferry as it caught fire off the coast of southern Thailand on Thursday morning. The ferry, an overnight service from Surat Thani to popular tourist island Koh Tao, was about to arrive at its destination when the fire began. Some passengers had to jump into the sea to escape the fire. Authorities confirmed that there were no injuries. South Africa's Speaker of Parliament, Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqula, has handed herself over to police a day after she resigned over corruption allegations. Ms. Mapisa-Nqula arrived at a police station in Centurion, 40 kilometres from Johannesburg. She is due to make her first court appearance at Pretoria Magistrates Court on charges of corruption. The politician is accused of soliciting bribes in return for awarding contracts during her time as Defence Minister. Togo has delayed parliamentary and regional elections amid tensions following controversial constitutional reform. The reform, approved by lawmakers last week, replaced the presidential system with a parliamentary one. It also hands executive power to the Prime Minister, reducing the presidency to a symbolic role. Opposition parties have rejected the reform, fearing it could let President Faure Gnassingbé stay in power. A 2-year-old boy in the southern Indian state of Karnataka has been extricated from a bore well after he was trapped inside for almost 20 hours. The boy fell headfirst inside the 16-foot deep open bore well while he was playing on a farm. Authorities supplied the child with oxygen and then dug a parallel pit about 21 feet deep to rescue him. The toddler has been taken to a hospital and is undergoing treatment. And Canada's Niagara region has declared a state of emergency ahead of a rare total solar eclipse on April the 8th that is expected to gather massive crowds to the areas. The dramatic waterfall, situated along the Canadian-US border, is in the path of the eclipse, and many people are splurging on hotels and rentals in advance to experience the phenomenon at one of North America's natural wonders. The mayor of Ontario City of Niagara Falls predicted by far the biggest crowd that we've ever had on the Canadian side for the eclipse. The Niagara region said that a state of emergency had been called out of an abundance of caution. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.
Thanks, Simon. On Sports News tonight, it's less than 24 hours to the crucial Olympic qualifying clash against the Bayana of South Africa, and coach Randy Wardon says the 9-time African champions are taking nothing for granted against the reigning African champions at the MK Abiola National Stadium in Abuja. The Super Falcons' last Olympic participation dates back to 2008, and the coach admits the team wants to make things right this time around. The game is scheduled for 5 p.m. Nigerian time.
And even though we had a few late arrivals to camp, and it's been well documented, we have a couple of key injuries. But I think the players that we have are ready to step up and show their worth being selected, to this team to show that they can do the job as well. And we have, as a staff, we have all the confidence in the players that are here, ready to play. And so, on the day, there's no excuses one way or the other. It's we have what we have, they have what they have, and it'll be which team shows up, the most prepared and ready to get the result.
Well, it's indeed a crucial encounter, and so the Minister of Sports Development, Senator John Owaneno, is calling on Abuja football fans to come all out and support the Super Falcons in that crucial encounter tomorrow, Friday. He believes with the home support, the team can get the job done before they travel out to Pretoria for the return leg on Tuesday.
Every support we need to give this team. We should give this team. I mean, it's my hope, and I try to engage and to see how much publicity can actually be given and can be made in the remaining time that there is. Because, I mean, there's no fun playing at home when you don't find the crowd and the spectators having to cheer you up. Then it makes a home match almost the same like playing away. So my hope is that that will not just be allowed to the NFF or to the ministry, but that all the journalists that are here, the entire media people, use every means that is available to them to promote this match and to encourage people to come and watch and to cheer this team up.
Nigeria Sports Minister, Senator John Owanino. Well, let's do you some quick updates from the English Premier League about fixtures played just a moment ago. Alexi McAllister scored a screamer as Liverpool survived a big scare from bottom club Sheffield United to win 3-1 at Anfield and return to the top of the standings. The Reds are now 2 points clear of Arsenal and have a 3-point gap on defending champions Manchester City with 8 games to go. But it was drama at Stamford Bridge as Chelsea rallied back in the last minute of added time to edge Manchester United 4-3 in a 7-goal thriller. In tennis, Rafael Nadal has withdrawn from the Monte Carlo Masters earlier today, where the 22-time Grand Slam winner was expected to make his ATP Tour comeback. The record 11-time Monte Carlo winner missed virtually all of the 2023 season through injury and has only played at the Brisbane International this season, where he felt a hip injury flare-up. And that's a wrap on sports. I am Kelly Egiga. It's back to Ayotunde.
Thank you, Kelly. And the main news again. The Inspector General of Police, Oluka Edegbetokun, has confirmed the arrest of 9 suspects in connection with the killing of 6 policemen in Ughelli, Delta State. And the new look 3rd Mainland Bridge in Lagos has been reopened. Authorities are, however, warning motorists against violation of the 80 km/h speed limit. That's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. Do have a good night and please stay safe.